Okay, doing a wet check on this 1965 Chevy Malibu. So a wet check is where you take your wax and grease remover after you've primed it and sanded down your primer block, sanded it. You just check your work, find out, hey, is this panel straight enough that it's going to be ready for paint? So this is a wet check on a 65 Malibu. It's been a lot of work that has brought me to this point here where it's finally, I feel like, at a point where it's acceptable, where it's, ready to move on to the next stage. So this is 2 coats of primer in, not including body work. This thing was heavily smashed. The car was hit kind of down that lower dog leg section of the quarter panel and a little bit back, about halfway back the wheel well, the wheel arch. And then this door was hit kind of down low. This door should be flipped over and sitting right there if you're doing a puzzle, putting it together. So anyway, it was smashed down low. It was caved in. We had a major cave in, like right here, probably 3/4 of an inch in, and nothing was straight. It was all wavy. They had done a repair maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Which, not knocking on the old way of doing things. That's the way they did it back then. Nothing wrong with that. Just the way they did it. That was acceptable at the time. Well, this is a different time, and this is a different repair. So I took this thing back to bare metal, actually with the help of my helper. We took this back to bare metal, and then body worked it. And I would say the hardest part of this door was, the front door. If you look at the front door here, it's fairly straight. It's not super complex. It's got a body line there, and a body line there, and a body line down low. And then you got the handles, of course, to work into. But it's not super complex. But this door, so you've got like a convex shape that goes into a concave. So it kind of caves in and sucks in down there. That goes to, that straightens out. And all the while you're keeping in mind that has to, this line has to match up with the quarter panel. And, when this thing came to me, this door was hanging out past the quarter panel, a good half inch, not a half inch, a good 3/8 of an inch there probably, 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch down low. It was hanging out past the quarter panel. And didn't line up with this door, and so the work began to bring this all into shape and make it so that, well, the goal is to make it look like this is what it was supposed to look like when it came from the factory, or better. That's what we aim for. Now, I can't say I always hit my goal. I shoot for that goal. I aim for it. I work as hard as I can. I work hard, at least, should say, to try to hit that goal. We don't always maintain that, that level of quality. We shoot for that. I do keep that as my benchmark. Is I'm always going to aim for that. That's what I'm shooting for. You're not going to come up 100% every time, but so anyway, the difficulty was, you're keeping that shape, you're keeping the concave in it, and then it straightens out, and then this back section where it's curved up, and then down low, it does something even different. It's still got a little bit of that up top, but then it kind of levels out and matches that door. So all of this has to be kept in mind, and we're starting to lose our wet check, so we'll refresh that real quick, but all this has to be kept in mind while blocking it out. And just to give some insight into how I did it, I'm not saying this is the right way or the best way or anything like that, but how I did it was I used this, this would be my, well, first off, before I get to there, I should say metalwork. I got my metalwork pretty close. And then after I got my metalwork close, and then I roughed in some fiberglass filler, some tiger hair, roughed in some of that. Then the bodywork, shaping that bodywork, a lot of that was done with this semi-rigid block, and you're being cognizant and being aware while you're blocking this in that you've got a body line to maintain and that you've got this shape to bring back. And I guess one of the good things about this block is, if I was to show you like this, you can, I don't know if you can see that flex, but you can flex this block down, or you can flex it the other way. You can flex it up, you can flex it up, and you push down, you can hold that flex, you can hold the shape in. So, you hold your shape while you're still maintaining your cross hatch pattern. And then, one of my little tricks that everybody knows, I think by now, is, you tape off your body line, down right on the body line below it. And then you block to that. And you keep your cross hatch pattern all the way as you go. And then the bottom's the same way. You keep your cross hatch pattern all the way as you go. And I can't say that center section was perfectly easy. That wasn't that easy. And I didn't only use that block. I also used, just a simple Dura block that's got some flex to it. And then where I could go at it from different angles. And I could go at it like this. And I could go at it like this. And I could bring that shape back. And I could also change this shape and bring that back. I can't say this one was easy. This car showed me a thing or two. Showed me like, hey, some of these shapes and stuff, to bring them back, it's complex. It's not just a simple, slam it with the DA and get it done. Slam it with your mechanical and buzz it down and get it done and paint it and get it out of here. This one, I'll tell you what, it made me feel like an apprentice. It made me feel like I'm day one on the job again. I got to work hard at it to try to bring this shape back, and I got a lot of hours just in this door alone to bring it back. To me, the point is that I'm bringing it back to the original shape, or even better. I hope that I can hit better. I know that from the factory they weren't perfect either, and I'm keeping in mind that this back of the door has to line up with that quarter panel and has to have a nice even gap all the way down. And the front of the door has to line up with that door and has to have a nice even gap. And that front door also has to line up with the fender and have a nice even gap all the way. And that fender has to line up with the hood and has to have a nice even gap all the way. All these things, you're building the car from the back forward, all these things, every one, it affects the other thing. And so you just have to keep it going. And you have to keep those things in mind and be cognizant and aware as you go. And even still, it's hard. It's hard work. This, to me, was not super easy job. This, to me, was complicated. It was hard. I feel like I finally got it to a point now where I'm like, woohoo! I'm celebrating. I'm ecstatic. I'm happy. But it's the culmination of a lot of hours of hard work, and not just hours of hard work, but also learning that went into it before this. Learning on other jobs and learning on jobs before this, and experience and gaining a little bit of an understanding of things. And look, I can see, hey, it's still not perfect. I'll be honest, it's not perfect. I don't think you're going to see anything too, what do we say, too incrementary or, too terrible when this thing goes into paint. It's going to be that light blue color that you see in the door jambs there. So it's a forgiving color. It's not perfect, but it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours that goes into this kind of thing. And you can see, if you look here, you can see I had to build it up here. I had to build it up on the edge because the doors didn't line up perfectly and the fenders didn't line up perfectly. So everything had to kind of be built up and shaped in ways that I think, the average person would never really recognize or realize what goes into that. And a little bit of that is, skill, and I would be crazy if I didn't give the glory to God and say, thank you, God, for helping me to figure out how to do that one, because I have been perplexed many times trying to figure out how to get this right. You know, sometimes it's perplexing. Sometimes it's so difficult that you can't figure out, well, what in the world is it that's got me confused here? Why don't I have this right? Why is that shape not back the way it belongs? And sometimes it's perplexing, but don't give up. Just keep on pressing on and keep on working at it, even if it's a little bit at a time, even if it's not going perfectly. You know, yeah, you learn, you also invest in learning. You continue to try to learn the right techniques, but don't give up. Keep on pressing on. Keep trying hard. Keep learning as you go. And you maintain, well, you gain, I should say, a higher level of mastery the more that you experience it and the more that you put into it and the more that you do this. And to me, okay, so I think the biggest thing about this car, one of the cool things about this car in particular, I like the 65 Malibu body style is unique, but I love the shoulders on the doors. It's got some muscular shoulders, and I feel like they're back. Like the muscular shoulders are in it now, and that's what this car's meant to have. So we aim for that.